Any questions from last night's homework? Let's talk about those. I think a couple people had some conversations with me yesterday, so I have a feeling that we need to talk about some stuff.
I just don't want to go over 835 because then I'm going to have to fix my paper because I guarantee I got it wrong. I was just guessing everything. Oh, 36. Oh, that one 80. I understood what I was doing.
When we get there.
How was your day yesterday?
Pretty great.
It was?
Hey, so I have not done a math journal check in this class for a while. So just so you're aware, as some of you look afraid as soon as I say that, by next Tuesday, I will be collecting your math journals because that's the end, right? That's the end of quarter 3. That's the end of that math journal. We should be moving on to a new math journal. I wasn't stopping you, but...
I know, I was getting worried because I was running out.
Yeah, so some of you may not need that, but I still advise that you do it. And I need the discovery days and time to check them and everything. But here's the thing. You do not want to start quarter 4. 1, I want to read that book, so you're making me jealous. 2, you're in math class. 3, I'm making announcements, so you essentially are just don't care what you have to say. That's that is seriously what you guys, what it comes off as. So just so you're aware, when you do behaviors like that, it's not only a choice that you're making, it's reflecting on kind of what you're putting out there, right? Do I care about the situation I'm in? If I walk into a staff meeting and I crack open Ready Player One and start reading that, while people will be like, oh, is that a good book? I'm sure would be real upset with me, right? So percent change, sorry, I got totally lost in my train of thought. So make sure your homework's done. You do not want to start quarter 4 with a missing or not progressing or anything like that. You're the accelerated 7 class, so I shouldn't really have to be having this conversation with you. But if you have been choosing not to do your homework, we need to be a little introspective and decide, should you stay introspective, right? Look into yourself. Are you really placed correctly? Not can you do it, but will you do it? Because when you get to high school, it's not about how smart you are. You also have to do the work. You can't just be smart. You got to provide evidence, right? Everything you got to provide evidence.
Okay, so for the 2 days I missed, I was confused on the homework, so can you help me with that?
Yes, and we may actually, I'm still debating what tomorrow's going to be. It may be a working questions and stuff. Okay. How? What? It's not going to be during class.
I know, I think it during lunch.
No.
No.
So, math lunch, any day that I can't go outside really, because I have some people that are in bad situations and need extra time to catch up, math lunch is always available if I'm in here. There's no direct intention with it, right? There's no we are going to work on X, Y, or Z. If you want to come, just show up. I'm talking about class tomorrow. So, who needs a day to catch your breath, ask questions, finish stuff up, and or work a little bit ahead if you are caught up right now? Yeah. So here's really what I'm asking. If we do that, is everybody going to be focused and working, or am I going to be a glorified babysitter?
No.
Will actually work?
No.
Because we know the impending math journal check next week, that might get us to be serious on this. Okay, so let's talk about percent change. Percent change is always, and all percent problems are talking about the same thing. They're all talking about part compared to whole. But it's what's your part, what's your whole, or part compared to part, depending on how you look at whole. Some people don't like it because they're well, that's the entire, and then we got bigger. So, cost was 25 last week. It now is 35. All you need to remember for percent change is it's change over original. So we look at how much it changed by, which formally you would write the difference expression and then what it was originally. So we end up with 10/25, which is 40% when you multiply up. Right? Because if I want to make my denominator turn into 100, I quadruple. So we get 40% increase. Right? Because it went up. Susan's jacket was 35 and is now 25. Same change, different original. So the trap they're trying to get you to fall into, and this is what we're going to be doing all at Masteries, is when they turn the order around, this is no longer 10 over 25. It's 10 over 35. Change over original. Or you can just do 10 divided by 35, because that's the decimal answer you're going to get. Yeah, but if you make it 100, it'd be 100 divided by 350. Yes? No? So, you said 100 divided by 35? I think you maybe meant 10. Because what we have, part whole is 1035. If we do that division, we're going to get something awkward. It's not very nice. Yeah. Right, something like that, and it keeps going. Then we multiply by 100, and we get approximately 29%. So that's where the 100 is. Yeah.
I always get stuck on this sign.
Okay.
What do you round to?
Depends on the math you're given. Sorry. So, the safe bet is thousands place, because if you're going to end up doing finances with it, and you calculate something to be like, okay, $35 and 78 cents, and there's a 4 there, if you need to figure out how the 78 ended up 78, then you can look at, okay, the 4 rounded it down. But if we're computing and continuing to use these numbers, that portion of a cent might matter. Now, on the flip side, my brother, who's an accountant, says these giant medical companies and everything, they don't care about the cents. And a lot of times they don't even care about the individual dollars maybe. They care about like down to the hundreds of dollars. So they'll reference like, oh yeah, that purchase cost us $8,400. When really it was $8,427. But they just do approximate math because eventually it all kind of rounds back. You know what I mean? Because then another one, they'll say, oh, that cost us $3,600. And it was actually $3,540 or not 40, but like 60 or 70. So that one, they just rounded it up just to say the number easily, and eventually it all kind of comes out.
Oh, so sister told me about like significant numbers.
Significant digits. Yeah. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Would it be more beneficial to just do today's work?
Yeah.
I mean, we got to do 822 at some point. But
Yeah.
so would it make? So you're saying you'd rather do the lesson today, so tomorrow there's no new homework?
Yeah.
So if I were making this choice,
it's just giving the option to work on homework and extensions, but if you don't
have
then you'll
extensions.
just do homework Friday.
No, I don't have
well, regardless, he doesn't. What we do today doesn't change whether or not you have extensions. So if this were my choice, I'd say let's do 822 today. I'm even thinking about skipping one of the questions. I think we kind of get the point of sampling. Then you'll have that homework ability, right? We've already covered all of that info, and can work on that tomorrow as well. Like right now, today, I don't really want you guys working on 822 if we haven't done it, but I know some of you will be. Yeah, have you already done the whole thing?
We did it yesterday.
So let's cover the lesson really quickly. There's a question that I did not print the resource pages for because I don't really want to. It's kind of a waste of paper and it's a lot of cutting. And quite frankly, we had conferences last night, so I got lazy. So I'm just honest with you guys. There's no point in not being honest. So this was going to be the resource page. Okay? This is the weights of 100 American robins. And the American robin is a very common bird that you probably see all the time. If we look at this, and so the activity was going to be let's cut these, or not let's, but I was supposed to have cut these up, and I decided I wasn't going to. Yeah, right? It's 100 little tiny squares. Yeah, I know, but still, look, I'm not saying I can't or what, like, I just said I decided not to. Right? I get it. It was a lazy choice. I get it. I'll own that. If we did random sampling of this, and actually, we can use a tool to really easily help us random sample. So if we go to random.com, have we talked about random.com yet?
I've used it.
Random.com is amazing, and they have apparently updated their website because it did not used to look like this. So I like random number generator. Why are you? Okay, there's actually a website called random.com. I think it took me to a like search result. Are you kidding?
Maybe it's that one. Hit it.
Probably.
Oh, or not. Nope, it gives you a Yahoo.
Here, this. What? Oh, random.org. That's why I got screwed up. All right, so random.org is fantastic because not only does it have like games and different stuff up here, and the games are pretty fun, but I can tell it to generate me a number. Generate me a number between 1 and 100. 74. So we could look at bird 74. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
2nd column 3.
63. Right? So if we start to do a random collection of birds, right? Then random generate another. So I would have had these in envelopes, and you would have had to be like, this is easier, right? And it uses some technology that I would like you guys to use in the future. So 79 is my next one. Okay, that bird's 82.
We have numbers. We have numbers.
What do you
We have
mean?
26 and 40.
Oh, you got your computer. Okay, so 26. So let's go 20. So you do my random generations. I'll highlight. Okay, so I can actually be at the board. So 26, and then you guys write these numbers down because that's going to be our sample, right? So this is our random sample. You said 26.
Yeah.
The first question in the lesson, which is 80. Hold on, I'll go back to 40. It's 41. This is 41. You're very welcome. You're writing down what we highlighted. So we are collecting a sample, and we were going to do this as groups and compare, and we'll just do a couple together. So then you said 40?
Yep.
What next?
90.
Well, I can't have different people yelling. 32? Sorry, 32, 90. Actually, I think 90 would actually be over here, but whatever. Well, because if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then really both of these are wrong. Sorry.
Okay, so what did you just erase? He erased lots of things.
I erased 27 and 97. I'm sorry, to turn them into 95 and 46.
It doesn't have to be in an order, right?
Yeah, don't write down the numbers they're saying. Give me another.
47.
47.
Wait.
Wait.
That's
1,
49.
2, 3.
That's 49.
This is that's 40.
Yeah, that's 40. Oh my god.
It's 162.
Woo, fat Robin, which is good. It means he's healthy.
Eating too many.
What?
98.
98.
We're using the random numbers. 27.
27.
37.
Hold on.
It's 95.
What next?
37. 76.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Hold on. Oh, we got 10. So stop. So all these numbers highlighted are our samples. If we, now someone's going to need a calculator. If we go to find the average of this sample,
Do a block. Go block. Go block. No, we're the ones doing all the calculating.
That's 27 after all. Probably a sickly.
you might accidentally still have a couple that we erased. We erased 27 and we erased 97 because I had selected those wrong.
Is there an 87 in there?
I got
Yeah, it's right under. Okay,
I got that.
1, 2, 2.
Where'd you get, Alex?
80.4.
Alex,
I got 80.4.
80.4. So our average for yellow Hold up. 80.4 is one that I've got. Did anybody else get that?
Yes. I got 80.4.
80. All right, we're going with that then. Well, check your math. You might have missed. Hey, you might have made one number a little bit too high, or the fact that we erased a couple that might have goofed you up. It's all good. If we did this again, right? Let's select 10 random numbers. Okay. If you guys can do this without bias, you can just shout out random numbers. 30. Now, technically, we would say like that still has bias, but 30. What did you say? 31. 39. 37. You also want? Sure. 14. 12. Okay. 58.
Hold on. 32.
Guys, going too fast.
I have 2 numbers.
All you have to do is highlight, or like what I highlight in green, write it down. We already have that one actually.
8. 73.
15.
I think you should
Stop.
slow down for a moment.
I'm so confused. He keeps getting away.
Don't go by
Can
super fast. Go by normal.
you like move? Once you know what that one.
All right, we're gonna stop with the shouting out. Ladies, keep feeding me numbers. I need 2 more.
3.
3.
And 78. 8.
78.
I still got 6. I've been using this the whole time. No, we're not.
The green ones. That would be a second random sample. And notice we actually grabbed one of the same values twice in both samples. We got the same bird in both, which is random. It can happen.
Wait.
Average that set.
Wait, I'm missing.
There's 10 of them.
You did 10. Yep, there's 10. Only missing 100.
It makes averaging easy. Should make averaging easy. Alex,
I got 82.4.
82.4. If somebody can get a verification on that, please.
Working on it. Oh, I missed 7.
We're all working on it.
You know, I'm just gonna like.
I don't believe that you're all working on it.
I'm working on it.
82.4. I got that too. What's the number? Oh, how would you know?
Still one last time.
That's not what I got, but I probably had something.
Let me see.
82.4.
Don't
There we go.
confirm it yet. Do you want me to?
I mean, they already did. But...
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, Kaylee, is he?
20.
95. 95.
Hey, guys, you're not ready? Move your face, please. That's so rude. 88. I just asked.
You could have just done that. Move your face, right? You didn't say move my head. You said move my face. What else? Sorry.
88.
88.
98.
Stop.
37.
I just want 37. My favorite number.
No,
Number 37.
You said 98 also?
5.
This is not green. Sorry, I don't know how that's not green.
52.
And you did
12.
Is 67 one of the numbers?
52.
12.
12. Another one that we're using twice.
23.
23.
Illuminati. 37.
37. We've used this number every time.
98.
No, because 30's here. I know it's on the 4th row, but so this is the row that gets you to 40. We started wrong. The first couple that we tried. It's as long as you write down these numbers, it's all good.
25.
25,
Then double that.
and then double that.
I got 50. 20 points, Ed.
All right, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, 11 this time. Uh-oh. Make sure you have this
I only
67,
have 10.
this 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're missing one.
10, 11.
This got used again, the 49.
I know.
Yeah, it's the 37.
This 67. That 89 up there. This one.
I have all of those, but I can't figure out which one I got.
You have 59, 87.
Oh, there's 2 103. Okay, that's 8.
There are 2 103s.
That's
Thank you.
Alex.
I got 82.5 for repeating. Me too. 10.
Yeah. Now, Zin, what'd you just say?
I said that the averages they're all pretty close.
Now, let me pose a question.
They're within like 3.
Are the bird weights all pretty close?
No. No, this is six
Some
averages.
are, some are.
Cause like if you look
What's
I think it's 62 or 52. One, two is a 57, and that one's kind of far out. The 63 down there in yellow, that one's also pretty far out.
yeah?
But the rest are within like 3 squares of another color.
Yeah, they're pretty.
And so I mean they're all fairly close.
Well, and so the location of the number here doesn't matter because these we were gonna cut up and have all random and what, but we're like the value of them, right? The weight. What's the lightest Robin up here? Not even close.
40.
Not even close.
20 something. 27 people.
What's the heaviest Robin up here?
122. 122. Where do you see that? At the top. Oh, I see it. It's legit surrounded by highways.
So, what is the range of this data?
27 and over. It's 90.
Yeah, 95.
I got it.
So,
That's obviously.
we have a range of 95. Right? There's a difference from my lowest to my highest of 95. Yet, all 3 of these average samples are pretty close to each other. Just tells us how far apart our data could be. Like how far one point could be from the other. That's your range, right? Your lowest to your highest. And that just shows us like, really, this could, and it can't be anywhere within the range, but it could have been way up higher, closer to the 122. It could have been closer to the 27. That'd be really hard, but it could be down there. But what could I do now? We'll see who's really got their thinking cap on, and I'll come back to you. What could I do now if I had 3 different samples, but say like, well, there's still a little, like I want 1 average. Rachel?
You could add the 3 averages and then divide them by 2.
Average the averages, right? Okay, I'm not saying it's hard. I'm just saying you have to like take that extension because some people would say like, well, just look at all the numbers. No, you can average the averages, right? I don't need to go back to the weights. If I took 3 different samples, which can be beneficial, we get yeah. So here's what we're really getting at. What type of sampling did we just use? And probably.
I hope it's not pound.
No, probably grams. So a calculator. I don't know if anyone's ever held a bird, because I haven't, but
I held a bird. I like birds. I was like 5
we're using this in math too. Strontium 117.
I noticed that
Info that your calculator tells you.
is under 5 seconds.
So a calculator, this is 200 grams. Right? So if that's in grams, but now we're talking about a robin. Robins are small. Okay, yes. You don't weigh on that and take mass, but yes. No, I appreciate that. It's just funny when you guys, because you say it respectfully, but it is that 7th grade. I'm going to correct you because yes. Annie corrected me. I wasn't weighing. I was finding the mass, right? Taking mass, not weight. It's yeah, 2 different things. But so we could probably guess that was in grams. So maybe the 27 Robin was like baby. I'm trying to think of anything else it could be in, but like it couldn't be ounces because there's 28 grams in every ounce. So that would be, yeah, it could not be kilograms. All right, so this, hold up, now we actually have to care. Random sampling, so please make sure you have that written down in your notes somewhere, whether it's the header or whatnot. Random sampling, unlike what we talked about yesterday, does not have a system for choosing. You don't choose every third or every fifth or every blue one or every one. So it's not systematic. It does not choose the people close by you. What's that one called?
I got it.
Convenience, right? It does not break up your group into other groups and then choose one cluster. What else did we have?
Voluntary.
The birds did not fly up and say, "Here, take my mask." Like they, so all birds have high voices. So random. I'm coming to you. Random sampling is used to delete bias, right? A lot of my other sampling methods could have bias within them. When we used a random number generator with a random spread of data, it wasn't like their data was in order, it was just data page, right? Every bias, aside from like so we're going to define bias. Every bias is gotten rid of. We didn't choose the numbers. We didn't lay out the weights in a specific order. We didn't really do anything aside from write stuff down. Delete your bias and makes it, what do we call it when the sample should be a good indicator of the group? Representative. So, your estimation, sometimes it's just in clap your hands. Your estimation of mean, right? Mean is average. Your estimation of mean will be a little smaller or a little bigger because we don't actually have every single bird included in it. Now, if you wanted to, and you had all the time in the world, you could add up all 100 birds that we had in that table and average those. Still, no, I mean, if you're on there, you can access the resource page. But is that still every robin in existence? No, it's every robin that we had in our population. But, yeah, but our population that we took isn't even all the robins. Yeah.
Wait, birds like robins. I was just thinking about this because robins are like so perfect, and when they show the prehistoric age, it's usually not. So were they alive during like birds like robins? Were they alive when like?
I cannot answer that. Quite literally, I can't know. So they do say that birds and like crocodiles, alligators, those are the closest ancestors to dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But like obviously a lot of evolution happened between them, right? So like even if a robin today is derived from some version of a pterodactyl or whatever, there was a lot of change that happened to get there. Like evolutionary, what is beneficial and what doesn't need to happen. Like our thumbs are an evolutionary adaptation.
Really?
Well, it depends on what you go back, but like depends what you believe, what you go back to, and what science you follow. But depending on where you say we originated, I mean, if you look at apes now, they've even adapted. And there's those people that are like, well, if we're from apes, then how do we still have apes? And that's a further conversation than for today. But I have no idea. So, I'm kind of hoping that we don't need to do a lot of this because I am giving a lot of respect and credit to you guys. We would and could make histograms to represent this data, right? And look at the spread. Where is my data concentrated? So especially if we looked at all 100 and we listed them out in order, then we could see that middle 50%, right? The trend of your data. That would get rid of that minimum weight of 27. That would get rid of that upper weight of 122, and we'd only look at those middle weights, which are probably going to be concentrated close to 80, right, or the mid-80 range. When we take means, what can be a concern to you? And if I try to give more to that question, why might our one mean have been lower? The other two were really close, right? Green and blue were really close. What can kind of in a bad way, affect averaging? Now I got way too many hands. Oh! Ava, any interest?
Huh?
Any interest?
Oh no.
Zin, you're the next card.
So we randomly pick numbers that are like having numbers that are really high, like having too many 103s and 107s, and then having too many that are low and not so many that are in between. Like having more 40s and 27s than 80s and 70s or 60s, and having those 100s. When you divide the numbers, you have lots of lows and lots of highs, and it just finds the exact like middle basically. But for the others that are closer, it just kind of like makes it easier because they have the same numbers.
Yeah, with my yellow set, right, your yellow number set, we had a 46 and a 49. But then the uppermost values, we have a 117, which is close to the very top, but then only a 103, and we've only got a couple of those. And then the rest are relatively low. That's why this ended up being lower than the others. The others are somewhat more representative because they balance each other out a bit more nicely. So, if Cyrus plays volleyball, volleyball is a great sport.
Volleyball. No.
He wondered what portion of players prefer plain water over sports drinks. So, at his next tournament, Cyrus decides to select 50 random players from all teams and ask their preference. 78 report they prefer plain water. What inference could Cyrus make about all volleyball players? Take a moment to talk to your partner. What would you say about Cyrus's findings? Is it on topic? Is it about dinosaurs?
You could say
It says all players.
50, but he took his sample from every so there was like a boys team and a girls team, in order to the other team, you got people. Like if you want to see crazy volleyball, you can't go there because it's long. Flanagan's River Drive Island when the weather's nice. Holy cannoli. Like it's packed. People love volleyball. I have an answer. Doesn't matter. Same as your science fair. Even if I tell you my research is do you like plain water or sports drinks, that shouldn't really impact your answer. I'm just asking for your preference. Well, like, do you, as the person taking the survey, care about my findings? Probably not. You're just going to answer my question. Unless, good conversation we're having across the classroom, kind of. So we were discussing, like, do they know why you're asking them, what you're asking them? The only way that would really matter is if they have investment in this study. So, who might be bad to ask if they knew what you were studying? Nina?
Like a sports company.
A person connected to your study. Yeah, so like a sports drink sponsor or a water company or the person at the restaurant who sells the stuff. So you go somewhere to play volleyball and they have it for sale. Maybe if they want people buying the sports drinks or like whatever because it's more expensive, they might have bias. So then that'd be iffy if you tell them what you're studying, but that would be the only issue. What additional information? Oh, sorry. So what can we infer? Anybody want to share or should I just go random? Well?
Arif said, we originally said most, but then like Bilal and I, me, Bilal and Andy were talking, and like, there was this discussion whether we should say most or we should say like about 80% of people, or 80% of volleyball players drink sports drinks, because how I thought about it was like, if you saw like an ad.
I drink water, by the way.
I drink water, sorry. But like for our water or whatever, if you saw an ad being like, hey, 78% of volleyball players prefer our water, that'd be more convincing if you just said, hey, most volleyball players drink water, because that could be like 55.
I love it. I don't know if we were all paying attention to well, but he's referencing commercials, right? Think about all these commercials that use, oh, look at these normal people we've called in to talk to. Look at these normal dentists that we have here. If you were presenting data and you say most volleyball players want to drink our water,
Out of how many?
well, that doesn't even matter because they're just like saying out of everybody. But if you said like when it surveyed 1,000 people, like then that could be useful. But most is not as powerful as saying like 78%, because most could just be 51%. So it all, yeah, exactly. It all depends on your purpose. What if he took multiple samples though, and these are his results of preferring water?
You should average it and then be like, according to these studies, this is like the percentages average this amount, this percent of volleyball players like to drink their water.
So if we wanted to make a box plot, let's say we split it up by like 5%. Or sorry, that'd be histogram. Sorry, I'm talking about box and whisker. Sorry. How many data points do we have?
10. No, 12.
12, right? So when I split, I'll have 6 in both halves. Right? 6 on bottom, 6 on top. So my lowest 6, 71, 72, 73, 77,
I found the average with 81.
oh, there's another 80.
That'd be so helpful.
81. 81.
There's an 83.
There's an 83. Those are killing me.
Hey, it's all me.
Yeah.
All Mina's fault.
stopped. I knew I was wrong and I stopped.
The average, do you want the average?
Not yet. We're actually looking at median, and then we'll compare to average. If we box plot this, right, split it in half, then split the bottom half in half, there's your box. Split the top half in half, there's your box, and then whisker. Now, if we make this on a number line, though, this box would be how wide?
3.
Well, what is my quartile 1?
70 something.
Ah, so quartile 3 is easy to find. 81, 81. Quartile 1, 75, right? And median?
79.5.
So this end of the box would be 4.5 wide. This end of the box,
0.5.
close,
Oh, 1.5.
1.5 wide, right? High concentration. It's small. It's not very wide. Even the 4.5 is not very wide. Then when we present our data, we look at the middle 50, right? Because that's our common, get rid of the bottoms, get rid of the tops. So we can say our middle 50% ranges, bless you, from 75 to 81%. Does the 78 fit in there well? Yeah, the 78's right in that range of middle 50. Now what was your average, Annie?
78.29.
And the average was 78.25. So his single sample was pretty darn accurate, which is what should result with random samples of substantial size.
What would you call mine? Like how far off?
Skewed or biased, depending on what caused it. Either just sorry. Go ahead.
But like, if like, what number would you call?
Oh, that we're not there quite yet. But then you look at how many interquartile ranges you are away. So here we've now found that our interquartile range is how far? 6, right? Interquartile range. You guys, you with us? Because it just seems like you're having like social hour over there. Unless you're talking about inner quartile range. Inner quartile range is 6. That is then going to be used to determine what's an outlier, or what's too far away, or what's a bad approximation. So really, what you're asking, I think if we were outside 75 to 81, we'd probably say, hey man, your first sample wasn't great. But it's like, depending on how far it was, we'd then say it's an outlier versus just, hey, it's not that great.
Oh, like that airplane where her father owns an airplane. Oh, his father owns an airplane. Oh, yeah.
Who goes in their plane 100?
You haven't done that for me.
No, I haven't.
No, it sounded fake. He was like, oh, yeah.
No, I was thinking.
In the back
Really out of it.
Yeah, and you're like halfway horizontal. Alright, so I think we understand our samplings.
Halfway horizontal is
Diagonal.
yeah, that's the word.
I have a couple last things.
Oh, it's a fish. It's a turtle.
Phoenix is your population.
Oh, yeah.
How could you pick a cluster sample? Foundations. That'd be perfectly fine cluster. How would you, specific to you, pick a convenience sample? Izzy?
My locker bay area.
Your locker bay row. What else?
My just pod.
If you're in the pod, then yeah, sure. Yeah.
My gym class.
Your gym class while you're in there.
This class,
This class, sure. We're here. We're together, Alana.
lunch table.
Your lunch table. You took Annie's.
ELA class.
Yeah, as long as it's your ELA class, right? So don't just say ELA. How could I then take a systematic sample? Okay.
You could like stand at the door while people are coming in and choose every like second person.
Yeah, I like that better than the hallway, because the hallway you could get people twice, actually, because you don't control it. You stand at the door and it only flows one way. Systematic kind of relies on a flow of subjects, because who you pick is your subjects.
Every second person has one.
Yeah, or we could like do the lunch line, or like you just have to have a system, a flow. How could we do a random? Since we didn't talk about this yesterday, how could we do a random?
Every fifth person you see.
That's systematic still, actually.
Every now and then be like, hey, listen this.
That still could have bias, Naya. That's totally biased, like 100% biased, because you chose a chunk of the alphabet. You made that choice. That's biased.
Like, you had a random letter.
The good old-fashioned pick it out of a hat. So you'd randomize the subjects. Now you could just say, look at student number and do random number generator. That'd be the easiest thing. Use a random number generator. That's the pick it out of a hat of today. All right, we're out of here. I went over. I'm sorry. Too much random talk. Yeah, that wouldn't be systematic. Systematic is based on the flow of data. There's a pattern that you make happen in the flow. Yeah, the time thing, I don't know. That's a good question. If you were standing at the front door and like people were flowing past you, and you said, this might be, you turned it in before just yesterday. You turned it yesterday. It could work if the data was flowing past you. Good luck. Good luck. We'll see if it works.
That's really random.
Well, she's got hiccups. I don't want to send her to her next class with hiccups. Water water upside down or a spoonful of mustard.
Spoonful of mustard.
Spoonful of mustard totally works. It's like bitter and it just, I don't know, your body.
This spoonful of sugar works. It tastes terrible.
I don't know if you can get a spoonful of sugar down faster. Like, that might be dangerous.